Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Going Executive Director Show. Our purpose is to bring to you the vision, skills, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and daily activities needed for you to build a solid, profitable business. Now remember, this is our team's philosophy. This is not the My Leadership Show, so if you're waiting for that, that is at noon. This is strictly team-based. So let's get out a pen and paper and take lots of notes.
All right, what's up, guys? Great to have everybody jumping on here real quick. We are running down, the numbers and keeping track of what's going on. We know that we need a certain amount to hit executive director. So what you have to do is you have to basically track that out. What is executive director? That'd be a good question. If you can't actually spell it out, Dave is here, Jerry's here. What's up, guys? So if you can't actually draw it out, it's very hard to hit something you don't know where you're going. So to hit executive director, you have to put a couple things in place. And if you don't know what those couple things are, you're going to have a hard time actually hitting that level. So what I want to do is lay out exactly what you need to do. And throughout this week, kind of the philosophy behind this. So the philosophy that I've always had is recruiting is first, sales is second. I'm always going in with the idea that I'm recruiting. I'm always building with the idea that I'm recruiting. The reason being is the funnel is the widest on the recruiting end. There's more people looking for money. There's more people looking for opportunity than there is a product. If you're just trying to sell the product, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just going to be much, 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 much harder, and it'll take you a lot longer to get to the top if all you're doing is trying to market a product, really in any company. Unless there are some weird circumstances. I always know there's the one guy, and I met one of the guys from a company a long time ago. He was 16 years old. He was working inside of a grocery store. And he was, basically the janitor. They just didn't have the name janitor. He was kind of like night cleanup supervisor. He was a janitor. And he came up with an idea to clean the floors with a product that his family had at his house. And he ended up hitting that chain of people. There was a chain restaurant. He ended up getting in front of the owner. And the owner had like 400 some stores across the country. And showed him the cleaning product, and the company ended up buying 20,000 barrels or something stupid. And he hits the top of the chart and goes on to be a millionaire in the company. Awesome, but it was one frickin' guy out of 15 million people that have been in that company. That's not normal. Nobody else has ever done that in that company. Nobody else probably will do that in that company, but every company kind of has that one story where that's happened. What I've always done is looked for what is the usual regular way people are doing this, and then how do we speed that up? The reality is most people will take, most people are going to take 12 months to somewhere 24 months, maybe as many as 36 months. I'm going to actually get the numbers from corporate on what does it take for the average person, because what they can do is they can run the numbers, and almost every company that I've ever seen can do this. They can run the numbers and say, over this period of time, this is how long the average person takes to hit this level. And another interesting thing that they can do, every computer system that I know has the ability to do this, they can also run how many people does the average person have to recruit to get to that level. And when you know those things, then what you can do is talk about what does it take to speed that process up to be able to hit the top of any chart in any company. This is some of the numbers that I've pulled, so that way I can explain to people, hey, this is how to do it, and this is how to do it faster. The reality is not everybody wants to get to the top of the chart. That was hard for me to comprehend when I first saw direct sales or network marketing. It was hard for me to comprehend that people weren't willing to go to the top. And I think that part of that is my personality. Part of that is when I saw that the people who were speaking on stage, when I saw the people who were training and teaching, they had already hit the top of the chart and beyond. I was like, well, I have to get to at least there to participate in this stuff that I want to participate in. What I realized is most people, that's not their objective. That's not what they want to do. But if you do happen to want to do that, executive director is really where all that starts. And again, Brandy had said this earlier. This show is dedicated to a specific company, how to grow it, how to put it together, what its products are. So if you're kind of joining us and you're from any of the other shows that we run or any of the generic training. I just want you to know that this show is specific to building, recruiting, and team philosophy inside of the company Legal Shield, which Brandy and I are actually part of, and joined 36, 37 days, 38 days ago. What is today? What is today? 28th, 27th?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. Somebody will put
It's
it up
the
here.
29th.
It's the 29th. So we've been involved, plus 10, 39 days. So we're 39 days in to actually working and building inside this company. Being that it's Law 21. I think we can talk about that later. So you get in, and you have to know how to get there. The first thing you need is 3 people. You need 3 people to sign up, 3 associates. So what I'm trying to teach people is if that's the base to move up the chart, what you're looking for is to build 3 legs across. When Brandy and I came in, what we did is right away, we were able to recruit 3 people. And that's where we started. I said, okay, these 3 people. What most people do inside of a company is they'll recruit those 3 people and then they wait for those 3 people to do something. We weren't waiting for 3 people to do anything. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Teresa. We weren't waiting for 3 people to do anything. We put 3 people in, and then I said, okay, automatically we need 3 more people. So then we put 3 more people straight down underneath those 3, and we went to level 2, and it was 1, 2, 3 straight across. Underneath number 1, we put another one. Underneath number 2, we put another one. Underneath number 3, we put another one. And then we're like, okay, now what? Now we need to go down another level. So we went to level 3 and put in 3 more people. 1, 2, 3. We kept going, driving that down. And what we were looking for is people who wanted to participate right now. Not 2 weeks from now. Not a month from now. Not a year, 6 years where, somebody wants to read a book and, go to a meeting and kind of feel it out and, go home and think about it. We were just looking for people who wanted to go right now. And everybody else, we were just locking in a spot with a membership. We were locking in a spot because what we know is not everybody wants to run right now. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to set up our friends. We wanted to put our friends, we wanted to put our family members in a position where when they're ready 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, when they're ready, not everybody's going to be ready right away. When they're ready, they're going to have an organization built underneath them, and one organization is going to organically help push them up the chart. So there's 2 ways to kind of get to executive director. One is you can sell it personally. You can put in everybody you need to put in every single month. That's a lot of work, and that's in direct sales network marketing, that would be known as a job, basically, inside of direct sales or network marketing, where you're physically going and hustling and selling everybody. Executive director on the personal side, if you want to do it personally, is $1,400 in volume. Now, if you broke that down, do you have your calculator out? So what I do is I break everything down by numbers. So that way it's kind of easy to understand. A single plan is $35. A family plan is $50. So if you divide the 2 of those out, it's 42 point something. So let's just use the figure of 40. What is 1,400 divided by 40? It's 35 people. So I'm going to round off up because some people, there are states that are licensed where you have to get a license to be able to sell the Legal Shield membership in, and you're only going to be able to sell on identity theft. There are some people who are going to come in who are couples who are only going to recruit couples. So if we go with like a lower common denominator, I would say it's 40 people. I would guess it's somewhere between 40 and 45 people is probably what the average person's going to have to bring in a month to be able to hit executive director. On the personal side, you can jump all the way to the top of the chart without any other qualifications. All you have to do is sell 1,400 in volume personally, meaning your associate number has to be on every single one. I'm going to all my friends and family first, so they are not mad at me for exactly. And Dave, Dave points out a point. So you can do it personally, and how most people do it personally is they actually go to the B2B side of the business. The B2B side of the business is they're going inside of companies, they're contacting small businesses, they're hustling at Chamber of Commerce meetings, They might already have a network of people. If you came from a school system and you were a system administrator, if you came from a school system and you were some district over a group of people, you probably know HR, you probably know some of the people, and you have the ins to get in and do that. And then you're just going to network through those people to find the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. And there's people who go in and sell tons of group benefits. It's sort of like insurance. That's not me. I never wanted to do that. I'm not against doing it. Don't get me wrong. If there's people on my team and that's what they want to do, more power to you. Hey, I'm happy for you. But don't call me for help, because I don't do that. Don't call me to wake up and attend a meeting at 8 a.m. because I don't do that. I don't like doing that. I don't want to do that. And most likely, I'm going to pass that off to somebody else who likes doing it. Because if I don't like doing it, no matter how good at sales I am, if I don't like doing it and I show up at 8 a.m. and I'm pissed off, how that's going to transfer in my presentation. I'll be like, I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. What I really would like to talk to y'all about is the opportunity side, so you never have to show up to work again. But I'm not allowed to say that. Because that's against company policy. If you go in to sell a group, you can't talk about the opportunity even if they ask you. Some people do, and then then they can get eliminated from the company. So don't do that. That is one way to do it. The other way to do it is put in 3 legs. You sponsor, you recruit 3 people, and what I've taught people how to do is go straight down one leg. And the reason you want to go straight down one leg is because most people aren't recruiting people fast enough to be able to lock it all in at the same time. But what do you need to get to the top of the chart? Well, first you need 3 legs, and then you need to, once you have 3 legs personally with 3 memberships, you'll automatically go to senior associate. The next objective is you need a senior associate in each one of the legs to be able to hit senior manager, which means you'll hit manager in the meanwhile. Manager is 400 in volume. Senior manager is 400 in volume plus another, 750? I think it's 750 in volume. Plus, not only do you need 750 in volume, you have to have, Teresa, by the way, this is not, this is the company that Brandy and I are physically in and building, Legal Shield. So if you're confused, this show is not generic. That's the show that we do at noon. We're talking about the company we're actually physically building right now on the networking side, not the product side. So it's 3 organizations that we're building inside of this company. I want to tell people about the freedom. So what we do is we build down 3 organizations. So 3 organizations, we help 3 people get 3. Then you need to go down underneath those organizations and help another 3 people get 3. The reason being is for people to get to manager and senior manager, they have to have A, volume, and B, they have to have 3 wide. Once you have 3 wide, it's really a volume game. So you put your 3 people in, you go down deep enough to find somebody who gets their 3, and then you keep going down and create the volume to break a manager. You do that in 1 leg, you do that in 2 legs, you do that in 3 legs. Once you have 3 managers, 3 manager legs, then it's 100% about volume. The nice, simple, perfect scenario would be all the volume would come evenly between all 3. The likelihood of that happening is basically, Space Invaders landing on your front lawn and building a Nintendo system for your kids to play. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So wishing that it happens in perfect order. You're not looking for perfect order. What you're looking for is accomplishing each one of these goals. Goal number 1 is get 3 people. Goal number 2 is take one of the organizations straight down and help somebody get 3 people. The next goal would be take the next leg down and help that leg get 3 people across. Then the third leg, get 3 people across. Once you have 3 legs that have a senior associate that each have 3 people straight across, then you drive volume in the first one, drive volume in the second one, draw volume in the third one, until you hit 2,700. Once you have 2,700 in volume total, what do you do then? Then you basically have the setup for executive director. That becomes now senior director is when the volume hits 750, I think. It's either 700 or 750. And then executive director is 1,400, but the 1,400 has to be set no more than 650 out of any one organization. If you calculated it out perfectly, think about it this way. It's 500 in volume out of 3 separate legs. We already said that each organization, has to can only produce so much. So really it's about 15 people out of 3 separate legs. If you want to run the numbers of about 45 people, it's 15 out of leg 1, 15 out of leg 2, 15 out of leg 3. And that would basically achieve executive director. So I'm just talking out loud about how I think through being able to build and structure. You can do it in a bunch of different ways, and I would advise people to do it in different ways based on who they are and how fast they're going and how many people they're willing to recruit. People who are willing to basically present and expose, 3+ people a day, I'm going to advise doing basically exactly what we're doing, because that's about the speed or the pace that we're going. Anywhere between 1 to 5 presentations a day, 7 days a week, is basically the pace that I've been on for 39 days, that we've been on for 39 days. That's brought in the people. Now, we also have some experience in this, so we're going to have a higher closing ratio than most people. But regardless of the fact, if you use us as the presenter, we're probably going to have more or better effect than if you try to do everything on your own. And what I mean by everything is, here's the different pieces of the puzzle. When you go to actually recruit somebody, the first thing is you actually have to contact them, obviously. The contact that we've used, that I still use, and you guys think I use probably something different, magical, but I still use, hey, do me a favor. Almost every single person that I've recruited so far has been, hey, I need a favor. I want to show you what Brandy and I have decided to work on. We actually stopped doing some things, and we started doing others. And I just wanted to share with you what we're doing, so if you happen to run into the right person, you can refer them to us. And 99.9% of the people that I've talked to are like, sure, no problem. Are you available right now? Now, because they're my friends, because I know their job, work, history, schedule, most of them I was able to get with right away. But there were certain people that even though I have a relationship with them, even though I'm friends with them, I said, hey, look, we're building something, and time is of the essence, and they're like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. One of the people, it took 3 weeks to get a hold of. They were busy the first week with closings. The second week they were busy and then went out of town. The third week they went on vacation. I got with them the 4th week. It took 3.5 weeks to get in front of them. The minute I got in front of them and explained everything, they were like, I'm ready. Let's go. They signed up. They already have a team underneath them, even though it's been like days. I mean, it really hasn't even been a week. They already have power, and not just team. They have some power hitters that came in underneath them. If they would have waited 1-2 more days, they would have missed some of the most significant people I've recruited so far in the first 39 days. Luckily, they didn't wait. They made the decision right there. And they said, well, knowing how you build, I'm going to go ahead and get a spot right now, because knowing what you've done in the past, if we miss a day, we're going to miss some very significant people. And thankfully, she made that decision, and I was able to write her literally the next day and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, we just recruited so-and-so and so-and-so, who she has always wanted to be able to recruit and put on her team. And I said, you got them. They're on your team. This is going to go big, huge. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I did what I did when I did it, which is great. So from there, that's kind of the pace that we're going. If I talk to somebody that has a full-time job and they can't go at that pace, or they don't know those people, or they're having to learn leads, what I'm going to suggest is a different approach, which is what the approach is to probably 80% of the people, is just build one leg at a time. One leg. Will you make as much money in the beginning? No, but you'll make 10 times more in the end, and you'll accomplish your goal much faster if you build one leg at a time. I still suggest putting 3 people in across and then going straight down one organization. Until that organization is basically working, running itself. We found some people who are going to show up to the events. We found some people who are going to recruit on a regular basis. We found some people who are going to sell a membership on a regular basis. You stay in that one leg until that leg is sufficient. And that leg's not sufficient until I think it's sufficient, not until you think it's sufficient. Because if I've been doing this for, a while, 39 days this time, but I've had a decade in the business, I know when it's ready. You just stay in that one leg and keep driving that one leg down. It's basically, we used to call it drilling for oil. You know, you have to go down a certain level. You know, certain people will hit a puddle. And I'm like, you're not looking for a puddle. You're looking for where that thing explodes. If you've ever seen somebody strike oil, it shoots out of the ground because the pressure is so high. It just shoots out of the ground and it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. That's what you want to happen with the volume inside of an organization. If you drive deep enough, you will strike oil. And when you do strike oil and it does hit, that leg will sufficiently keep running itself while you build the second one. You're not ready to build 2 at a time yet, because if you're still working a full-time job and you still don't have this, you know, this huge network of people to talk to, you're going to need to sit and focus on what you're doing. Let's say you can get 2 legs done and you're building your third. Great, now you can operate at a different level, because if you have the first leg going and you have promotions and volume there, you have the second leg going. Your third leg, what we like to say is 3 will set you free, 6 will make you rich. And this is actually true inside of any type of business that you run. If you bring in 3 people and 3 people are locked in, 1 on one side and 2 on the other, that are really working, and what I'm talking about is the difference between a binary comp plan and a unilevel comp plan or a stair-step comp plan. If you have about 3 people and they're spaced out between 3 organizations, because a lot of people don't even know how their comp plans work. Even inside of a binary, you have a unilevel build. Hi, Caitlin, how you doing? Even inside of, you know, that kind of company, you have 3 across. So this is a little bit about what it takes to actually build structure and make it work. What we're doing is we're building straight down, and personally recruiting all the people, because I'm not going to wait on anybody to retire us. I knew when I saw this that if it took approximately 100 people to get to the top of the chart, I'll just go out and find all 100. I'm not waiting on any single person inside of my organization to go do anything. What they're going to end up seeing happen is all these people drop in underneath them, and this money is going to keep ripping by them and going by them. So that's how we build, and that's what we teach, so that way people put themselves in the best position possible. We have about 3 minutes left. So eventually what's going to happen is Brandy and I are going to it's divide and conquer. I'll probably grab Brandy and say, this is your organization that you're going to work, and you're building it straight down, and I'm going to go over here and work with these 2 organizations, and I'm going to build them straight down. So, and the only reason being is I have more contacts, and B, I probably go through people a little bit faster than her, because she also runs the Holistic Health Company and does all the advertising. She also helps out with the MLM Millionaire Club now and is doing a lot of the advertisement and social media. But at the same time, we're both recruiting. We're both talking to people. We're both presenting. Mm-hmm. So that's a benefit if you have, you know, you're a couple building. But if you're not a couple building, you need to use your support team, and your support team is that other part of the business where you've handed off pre-qualification forms to your upline. And we'll go into that over this week, because I'm almost done with the lead system that kind of just tracks out word for word exactly what to say, what to do, how to do it. So that way you can get a bunch of things running really fast. You do the first part. You contact. You're going to set the appointment to actually talk to them. You're going to do the pre-qualification, and you're going to do the first part of the presentation, those 4 things. If you do those 4 things and then hand that off, what I'm able to do is call that person, confirm the information that you've already taken. I'm able to basically edify you, meaning whoever sent me the application. I'm able to edify you, and then I'm going to cover the product again. I'm going to cover the compensation. I'm going to cover what it takes to get started. And if that person gets started, then that person is actually going to go to whoever sent it to me. You know, for instance, if Brandy sent it to me, it'll be her recruit. If Dave Peters sent it to me, it'll be his recruit. If Caitlin sent it to me, it'll be Caitlin's recruit. All I'm going to have you do is contact the person, set the appointment to talk to them, pre-qualify them, and read the first part of the presentation. Once you do that, hey, you sound like the type of person we're looking for. You know, which one of these 3 things that we're doing sound best? Great, I'm going to get you to the sales director. I'm the sales director. I then confirm the information off the pre-application. I then confirm, you know, the product that we went over. And every time you hear something twice that sounds the same, it sounds more credible, it sounds more congruent, and you're like, yeah, this does sound good. And then I'm going to, you know, cover the money and then what it takes to get started. And we're either going to close them right there, and or we're going to bring them into the events. What are the events? The events are calls, shows, live events. What I really like about the company that we decided to build, the nice thing is it already has a nationwide network of events set up and a calendar online, where if we go through our process after we do this, we can actually have people go to events, whether online, live, webinars, or we can send them to a physical live event where I know and trust people that I can get on the phone with and call and build into somebody else's event, and then eventually take over the majority of that event, meaning I have 30, 40, 50% of people in the room, and then I can actually fly out and be the speaker. Okay, we're still here. Sorry about that. So that's basically what we're going to talk about, what we had to talk about today. Tomorrow we're going to go into more depth about the LEAD system and the LEAD program and what it takes and what to do with the people that you've already talked to, and then how the LEAD system kind of comes into this. But right now we're going to jump off. We're actually going to do law number, I think it's 20 or 21 of the 21 Laws of Leadership over on another show. So I appreciate you joining us. We are transferring all this to YouTube. So we're transferring this to YouTube for two reasons. First of all, to catalog it all, so that way we can have copy, obviously a long-term copy. But the second reason is for closed captioning. I have a lot of friends that are deaf and they don't have the ability, obviously, to hear this, but YouTube automatically changes this to closed caption, and it's pretty accurate. So that'll be really cool. So that way they're able to watch and read along and pick up all these things to help them in their business. Some of them aren't involved in Legal Shield, but they're involved in other companies, and this stuff helps everybody. So that's kind of the idea. I'll listen to books at least 5-6 times if they're good. Yeah, I mean, spaced repetition, you got to listen to it over and over again to get good. So I appreciate everybody for being on. Kenny, what's happening? And we'll talk to everybody tomorrow, if not before. Thank you guys so much.